Well, we've reached the end of the NFL's regular season, week 17. Always a tricky week because some games so important and other games utterly meaningless, but that shouldn't stop us from turning a profit. So with that in mind, let's take a look at a few of these week 17 featured games, shall we? Why don't we start in New England where the Patriots host the New York Jets. Patriots a 16.5 point favorite at BetSafe, 45.5 the total in this one. Now the Pats have won 10 of their last 11 games. They're 12-3 on the season. They can lock up home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs with a win here. The Jets, meanwhile, 5-10. They've lost 3 straight. This New York offense really crippled with the loss of Josh McCown. You look at their last 3 games, just 26 combined points. They're averaging just 228.7 total yards per game. And it's a shame because the Jets defense really playing their best football of the season. Last week, for example, they held the LA Chargers to just 14 points. And the first time they saw this New England offense back in week 6, they held up pretty well. Held the Patriots to just 24 points. New England, of course, winning that game 24-17. But the Jets actually outgained them. And again, that was when McCown was leading the New York offense. And that was before this New England defense found their footing. You know, early in the season, there was a lot of talk about how the Patriots defense was a clear weakness. But you look at them lately, they've held 9 of their last 11 opponents below 20 points. That's a big reason why the Patriots are rolling now. And look, I do not expect them to lose in this one. However, 16.5, a big number, especially because if it gets late in the game, you never know. New England might think about resting some of their starters. The game plan might be a little bit vanilla here because Belichick and Josh McDaniels don't want to expose too much with the Patriots, with the playoffs coming up next. So 45.5 for a total feels a little bit high here to me. We mentioned the New York offense has just been awful lately. 26 combined points in their past 3 games. Patriots defense playing well, as we said. I think the Patriots win this game, but the bet I like a little bit more, under 45.5. Moving on now to Atlanta, where the Falcons will host their division rival Carolina Panthers. Atlanta a 4.5 point favorite at BetSafe, 46.5 the total here. This a big game. The Panthers would lock up the NFC South and a home playoff game should they win here and the New Orleans Saints lose. For Atlanta, meanwhile, it's even more important. They clinch a playoff berth if they win this game. But if they lose and the Seattle Seahawks win, then the Falcons will miss the playoffs after winning the NFC last year. So a lot on the line here for both teams. They last met in Week 9, Panthers coming away with a 20-17 victory. If you recall, Atlanta got out to an early 10-0 lead in that game before the Panthers stormed back, really dominated the rest of the game. Now for the Falcons, there's reason to be concerned, especially on offense. This offense was so good last season, but they just haven't been able to get it rolling this season. You hate to place all the blame on first-year coordinator Steve Sarkisian, but when so many of the players are the same and there's such a drop-off from one year to the next, it's hard not to look at the main difference, and that is the coordinator. And the most damning sign is that the Falcons have actually regressed over the course of the season. You look at the last 4 games, just 16.5 points per game. Matt Ryan is thrown for 221 yards or fewer in 5 of the Falcons' last 7 contests after he threw for 230 or more in the team's first 8 games. So this Falcons offense moving in the wrong direction, facing an excellent Carolina defense here. The Panthers 7th in the NFL in total defense. Carolina really playing well on both sides of the ball. They're 11-4 now. And when they faced these Falcons back in November, they really ran right over them after a slow start to the game. They rushed for 201 yards. We know the Panthers love to run the football. And Atlanta, even though their defense has been improved this season, not great against the run. They surrender 4.2 yards per carry. That ranks 19th in the NFL. And you look at the other side of the ball, as I said, not much to like about the Falcons offense lately. I know they're playing at home here. Everything on the line. That is why they're a 4.5 point favorite in this situation. But I just believe the Panthers are a better team. Think they have an excellent chance of winning this game. You know, they'd like nothing better than to end the season of a division rival. Think they're a good bet on the handicap as a 4.5 point dog. Carolina plus 4.5 at 185, my recommendation in this one. Moving on now to LA, where the Chargers will host the Oakland Raiders. Now, the Chargers could still qualify for the playoffs. They need a little help. They need to win here, and then they need either Tennessee and Buffalo to both lose, or Tennessee to lose and Baltimore to win. Those are the scenarios. So look, it's not likely. Now, like I said, they need a little bit of help, but the Chargers are still very much alive. The Oakland Raiders, meanwhile, have been eliminated. They've now lost 3 straight games, and look, for my money, last week's game, to me, I think that was the last best effort we're going to get from the Raiders this season. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 19-10, but they really controlled that game, had an excellent chance to pull the Christmas night upset. They just disintegrated there in the fourth quarter. This Oakland team does not strike me as a high character team, but look, beyond that, they've really been struggling on the offensive side of the ball. You look at their last 3 games, they scored just 15 against the Kansas City Chiefs, 17 against Dallas, and then 10 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Facing a Chargers defense here that is excellent. This this LA defense. I know it's week 17, but old habits die hard. The Chargers have held the opposition to 13 points or fewer in 4 of their past 5 games. They're 3rd in the NFL in passing defense. And this Raiders offense, of course, very much pass first. Oakland 25th in rushing offense. They just don't run the ball very well. But being a pass first offense is an issue when you're not passing the ball very well, and the Raiders aren't. And when you're facing an excellent secondary like the Chargers have. When these teams met back in week 6, Derek Carr threw for just 171 yards and was intercepted twice. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw a similar performance out of Carr in this one. Look, the Chargers have won 5 of their last 6 games. They would be in the playoffs were it not for that unfortunate loss to the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. But they've been playing some great football here over the past 6 or 8 weeks. Their average margin of victory in their past 5 wins, 17 points. So they've been winning big. I think this one could get ugly. I think the Chargers take care of business here. BetSafe offering several different handicap markets. I'm going to go ahead and give 9.5 points at a little bit better than even money. Chargers minus 9.5 at 208, my recommendation.